They say it's the best and the hardest trophy to win in all of sports, and the quest for it starts on Saturday. That is the Stanley Cup that I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Stanley Cup playoffs starting on Saturday. Probably my favorite postseason outside of March Madness in all of sports. But the NHL playoffs does have a little bit of its own kind of March Madness. Like similar to March Madness, there's games on every day. They have a doubleheader, first round here, doubleheader, both time slots every day. It's a lot of hockey. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to start out here by giving my predictions for the Eastern Conference. Welcome to the Shootout, the NHL predictions and betting show here on the Bandwagon Sports YouTube channel. I'm your host, DaRock. And if you're into NHL, NBA, MLB, just talking ball, we do a lot of that on this channel. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit like on the video. Let's get into it. So we're going to start here. The first matchup I'm going to preview is the Panthers and the Lightning, the Battle of Florida. So in this season series, the Panthers took 2 of 3 games from their in-state rival. On December 27th, they won 3-2. On February 1st, big blowout win 9-2. But then lost at home on March 16th, 5-3. The road team actually surprisingly won all the games in this series, so maybe that kind of leans Tampa Bay's favor a little bit here. In their past 2 postseason meetings, Tampa Bay in 2022, the second round, they swept the Panthers after the Panthers won the President's Trophy. They got wiped out by their in-state rival, the Lightning. And then 2021, Tampa Bay beat Florida in this first round 4-2. So the Lightning have had the Panthers number in their past 2 postseason meetings. But while the Tampa Bay, they've been a pretty proficient postseason team as of late. It's their 10th time making the postseason in 11 years. It's their first time being a wild card. Florida, on the other hand, is a team I'm really high on. I think a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago now, when I gave an initial NHL Stanley Cup pick, Florida was my pick to come out of the East. I will give Tampa Bay credit. They got off to, a bit of a rough start because their goalie, Andrei Vasilevsky, was out. But Florida, they're the defending Eastern Conference champions. I have these stats here on the board. Let's go through them first. So Florida allows the least goals of any team per game in the league, only 2.4. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay allows 3.2. Florida, they do score less than Tampa Bay, though. They score 3.2 goals per game. Tampa Bay scores 3.5. Face-offs pretty even, 52% winning percentage from Tampa Bay, 51% for Florida. On the penalty kill, same thing, 83 for Tampa Bay, 82 for Florida. And on the power play, Tampa Bay 29%, Florida 24%. So stats-wise, pretty even teams, but Florida, they're this scrappy defensive team. They're led by Matt Tkachuk. He went on a heck of a run last year in the postseason. He's a really gritty player. What gets him going. Sergei Bobrovsky's actually been playing really well in the net for the Panthers as of late. I think this is going to be a good series. I think it's going to be close. Like I said, 2 rivals, 2 teams that don't like each other. I'm going to go with the Panthers, though, to win this one. And I'm going to go in 6 games. So for the second year in a row, Tampa Bay, they're going to get bounced out in the first round in 6 games. I'm going Panthers in 6. Then we move on to the next series. Another big rivalry here in the Atlantic Division. We have the Boston Bruins against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Boston, they actually swept the season series. They won all 4 games, winning on the road in a shootout on November 2nd, 3-2. And then at home, won at home on December 2nd, 4-3 in overtime. They won on March 4th at 4-1 on the road in Toronto, and then 3 days later, won 4-1 at home in Boston on March 7th. Boston has also had Toronto's number a little bit here in the playoffs. In 2013, 2018, and 2019, Boston has won in 7 games against the Maple Leafs in round 1. All 3 of those years. 2013 was a very historic choke. Maple Leafs were up 3 goals in the third period, blew it, fell apart. Let's get into the stats here. That's what I have pulled up here on the screen for those of you watching on YouTube. So, power play, pretty similar. Toronto, 24%, 7th best in the league. Boston's 22%. Penalty kill, Boston's a little bit better, 82%, the 7th best in the league, to Toronto's 77%. Face-off percentage, Toronto wins a little bit more, they're 53%, Boston's only 50%. Goals for per game, Toronto's at 3.6, which is 2nd in the league. Boston's at 3.2. And then goals against, Toronto 3.1, Boston 2.7, which is it's 6th best in the league. Boston does have a really good starting goalie tandem of Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark. But the playoffs, sometimes, you got to kind of ride the hot-handed goal. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out, especially stopping Austin Matthews for the Maple Leafs. 69 goals this year, the most since 1995 goals scored by a player. And while Boston did sweep the regular season series between these two teams, Toronto, they finally got over the hump last year, making out of the first round for the first time since 2004. As I've pointed out, Boston's had their number in the playoffs, but some of these games are close. Toronto's a really proficient offense. I'm going to go with the Maple Leafs to win in 6 games. It's kind of the one upset maybe I like in this first round, just because, a lot of these I could see really going either way. Or no, I'm sorry, I couldn't see them going either way. I kind of like the higher seeded team. I think they're better. I think the higher seeded team is just the better team. These are probably the 2 teams I see the most even though maybe playoff history in the regular season does not say so. But I like Toronto to flip a switch here, turn the tides. I'm going to go with Maple Leafs in 6. Then moving on to the Metro Division, we have the President's Trophy winning New York Rangers taking on the Washington Capitals, who just got into the playoffs, clinched the playoffs by scoring an empty net goal to win in regulation against Philadelphia back on Tuesday. That's what got them in. The Rangers and Capitals, they split the season series this year, both teams winning one of the games. On December 9th, the Capitals won 4-0. On December 27th, the Rangers won 5-1 at home. On January 13th, the Capitals won 3-2 in Washington. And then on the next night in New York, the Rangers won 2-1. Teams have also met in the playoffs a couple times recently. In the 2009 first round, Washington won 4-3. In 2011, round 1, Washington won 4-1. But in 2013, the Rangers won in 7 games, round 1, 4-3. As well as in 2012 and 2015, round 2, the Rangers also won in 7 games, 4-3. Game 7 in 2015 was a heck of a series. Overtime, Game 7, pretty historic goal. Great game. Now going through the stats here. Power play percentage. Rangers' third best power play in the league, 26%. Washington, 21%. They also have the third best penalty kill in the league, 84%, as opposed to 79% from Washington. Face-off percentage are also better than that, 52%. Washington's 47%. Goals for a game, 7th best in the league there as well for the Rangers, 3.39 goals per game. Washington only scores 2.63. Then goals against New York is 2.76. Washington's 3.07. All the stats just say that the Rangers are a better team. I think they have the better goalie in Igor Shesterkin. Artemi Panarin's a really good player for them, makes a lot of plays. The Rangers won the President's Trophy, which means they're the best team in the regular season, best record overall. They play a Washington team that kind of just snuck into the postseason. They're off to a horrible start. Their goal differential this year is minus 37. That means their opponents scored 37 more goals than they did all year, and they still found a way into the playoffs. They're above NHL 500, but technically had a losing record, meaning with overtime losses, they had still more wins than losses, but if you add overtime losses and losses, they had more of those than wins. So while Ovechkin, you can never count out a guy like Alex Ovechkin, great goal scorer, probably going to break Wayne Gretzky's record for the most goals ever. I just think the Rangers are the better team just kind of all around. I like them defensively. I like them offensively. Like I said, Panarin can score. You got guys like Jacob Trouba, Adam Fox defensively that can shut down, Ovechkin. So I just like the Rangers to take this one. This is probably the one I have probably the biggest gap in. I'm going to go Rangers in 5 games. They win 4-1. Then the final series here in the East, another one. These two teams matched up in the first round last year. We have the Carolina Hurricanes, the 2 seed, against the New York Islanders, the 3 seed in the Metro. These two teams also split their season series 2-2. On November 4th, the Hurricanes won 4-3 in overtime. On November 30th, the Islanders won 5-4 at home, but then they lost 5-4 at home on December 23rd. Or no, I'm sorry. Those two games were in Carolina. And then on March 19th, the Hurricanes won 4-1. So the road team actually won all 4 games in these series in the regular season. Playoff history as of late, they've met 2 times. In 2019, in the second round, Carolina swept the Islanders 4-0. And like I said, last year they matched up in round 1, and the Hurricanes won that series in 6 games, 4-2. Then looking at the stats, Hurricanes have the second best power play here in the league at 27%. The Islanders are only 20%. The Hurricanes also have the best penalty kill in the league at 86%. The Islanders only 71%. Slightly better in faceoffs for the Hurricanes, 53% to the Islanders 51%. Goals for per game, the Hurricanes score 3.38, which is 8th best in the league. Islanders only at 2.99, which is 22nd. And then goals against per game, 2.57 from the Hurricanes to only 3.15 for the Islanders. This is another one here in the Metro. I think the higher seeded team is just a lot better team. It's been a bit of a revolving door here in goal for Carolina this year. It's going to be, kind of switching off here between Freddie Anderson and Peter Kochetkov. But I still think they're better. Semyon Varlamov is actually taking the net from Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders. And the Hurricanes also have, they have a lot of goal scorers. They have Sebastian Aho. So actually, the Islanders also have a guy named Sebastian Aho. So two Ahos battling out. But the Hurricanes have the better Sebastian Aho. They added guys like Jake Getzel at the deadline. They also have good defenders, like Jacob Slavin. I just think they're kind of a better all-around team. Matthew Barzal is really solid for the Islanders, so they can score a little bit. Not really, though. They're definitely not as much of a defensive team as they have been in years past. In the past, the Hurricanes just relied solely on their defense and not scoring, winning games 1-0, 2-1. They can score a little bit more this year, 3 goals as opposed to 2. But I just overall think the Hurricanes are the better team. So I'm going to go with them. Maybe 5, but like I said, just because I'm a little unsure with the goaltending health for Carolina, I'll go in 6 again. I'm going to go Hurricanes in 6. So that'll wrap up my predictions here for the Eastern Conference. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to comment your predictions down below, what you agree with, what you disagree with, how many games you think these teams win in. And while you're down there, once again, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to follow the show and rate 5 stars. Thank you guys for all your support, and I'll see you next time. Peace.